Welcome to the 11th installment of my 10 questions interview series. Today's interview is with All Ages. All Ages is a comedic centric YouTuber who makes tutorials and storytime videos parodying their respective topic. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. What is your main motivation for starting YouTube?
Um, Probably being an idiot, really. I started the channel with like no concept of how difficult growing a YouTube channel was. Like maybe I thought before I started within two, maybe three videos, I should have maybe, I don't know, 10K ish.
Really?
Like I had no concept that there was this other side of YouTube where there are just millions of people who have like 10 subscribers and you never hear about. I just didn't know that existed. So,
Well, I mean, how could you? You'd never hear of them, right?
yeah, exactly. You don't hear about them unless you go looking for them. So,
Yes.
yeah, I mostly just got into it because I was stupid and just went for it.
Well, now you're here. Don't leave. Do you think that your edgy sense of humor will cause problems for you and YouTube for you with YouTube later down the line?
I don't think I'll ever be big enough to where it would cause an issue with the YouTube itself. My concern was always more with other creators or other, just random people on the
Hmm.
internet taking issue with, my stupid jokes. Other than that, I guess there's always that concern of, this getting into my like my real life and my personal stuff and like, job prospects and stuff to that effect. So I always try to keep, a level of anonymity. Is that the word?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the word. Okay.
And you're part of Team Anonymous or whatever.
Yeah, I try to, cut the internet portion of my life into its own separate thing.
Yeah, I gotta say that's a good idea, especially with when you get into humor.
Yeah, yeah, no, my very dangerous usage of dick jokes. I got to keep it separate.
What does cross the line in terms of comedy for you?
Um, I think I've always been more of a kind of person where it's either all okay or none of it's okay. Once you start drawing lines over who you can and can't make fun of, then motives start to be put into it and it starts just detracting from the goal of it, which was just to be funny, like just saying stuff to
Hmm.
get the gut reaction of funny.
Hmm.
I guess with that said, I still do try to make an active effort to kind of weigh the pros and cons of what I'm saying. Like, is this mean thing I'm about to say funny enough to justify it? And sometimes I'm a little off on that, but I generally try to not make it too mean, but whatever makes me laugh.
So, all right, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. How much embellishing do you put into your storytime videos?
I try to do like a 90-10 split where it's 90% the truth of the story and like 10% kind of chopping things around or putting them in an order to where it's just funnier. Like at the end of the day, I am making a video for the purposes of comedy, not really like an autobiography. So, and I know a lot of comedians and like stand-up comedians do that too, where it's like if I say it in this reverse order or I become a little hyperbolic with it, then it's just significantly funnier. And I give myself that kind of leeway.
Could you maybe give us an example of like one of your videos or something?
Uh, let's see, off the top of my head, um, let's see. Okay, so in that one video I made called, you know, uh, "Suicide Attempt: A Story for All Ages,"
Mm-hmm.
that one ends with me folding my clothes. Through a long process, I was basically kind of just in my underwear, locked in a bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
and through some sort of mental gymnastics, I had decided that I know how to act normal. I'll just fold all of my clothes and walk outside like that because that's what normal people do. They fold their clothes and walk outside in just their underwear. Um, in reality, that was just a thought I had, where
Hmm.
I considered it for a while, and then I was like, wait, no, 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 put the clothes on, put the clothes on. So in reality, I did put the clothes back on. It's just it was funnier to go with that random thought I had at the time.
Oh, but the rest of the story is real.
Um, I'm trying to see other parts that were hyperbolic. The fish in the toilet scene,
Mm-hmm.
that I don't really. The thing with the fish is that it didn't literally talk to me. I just kind of turned it into like a Lion King kind of like Mufasa in the clouds kind of parody.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
thought it was funnier like that, but it stood for the same thing. Like when I was
Mm-hmm.
looking and seeing the fish, I was having that mental conversation in my head of just what am I doing here?
Yeah.
But it was just funnier to make it into, Mufasa fish.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting. So, so you did actually did try to do that to yourself at one point.
Yeah, it's just like I
Ooh.
feel like with a lot of people who get super into the internet and stuff like that, I like I don't know, I feel like depression and stuff like that is a pretty common thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not super talked about, but it's just kind of an underlining thing. And I feel like some people are kind of afraid to like admit to it or just be like, "Hey, this is a part of my life too." So
Mm-hmm.
I just decided, you know what, this is something that does affect a lot of my mindset, a lot of my jokes. So, it should be cool to totally just hop into that as
All
a
right.
subject.
Yeah, I was expecting more of that to be fake, but okay.
No, no, no. There's a lot of it. Like I said, I try to keep a 90-10 split on it of just
Yeah.
like,
All right.
that night in particular, just fed up, and that's the night.
All right. Well, don't do it again.
Yeah, no, that was a couple of years ago.
All
Since
right.
then, uh, certain things in my life have changed since then, so I'm not really leaning too much into that anymore. But
Mm-hmm.
depression and stuff like that, that kind of is the fundamental base of a lot of my dark humor.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
um that kind of recklessness or like caution to the wind of like, hey, I don't really care that much, so I can just say whatever.
Yeah. God's dead. Might as well, you know.
Yeah, yeah, like just go for it. Who cares? It's just to be funny, and why put restrictions on myself for that? Just go
Yeah. Yeah.
for it.
All right. So what's your process for making videos, all total?
It's usually something really dumb. I usually start with a joke. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
a notebook in my phone that I just jot down a random joke or thought. And if I see a couple of them that kind of seem like they would connect to each other, I'll open up a Google Doc, write that joke, and then just kind of start building off of that joke. And then once I get like maybe a dozen or so jokes, kind of get myself a
Mm-hmm.
solid like base, then I'll maybe start planning the video out more as yeah, let me give you an example. Like I made the video how to prepare yourself for coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
That started off with just a joke about um, the signs of coronavirus. The cough, the
Mm-hmm.
sweat, the shortness of breath, the squinty eyes. Like that was the base joke of it. Like just something so dumb that I was like, I can let me put this in, and I'll kind of just work on that. And then from there, I kind of built it into more of an idea of me being frustrated with people's focus only being on that one thing
Hmm.
where the video ends with who cares about heart disease and being overweight when the only form of death is coronavirus now.
Yeah.
Like um I'm trying to think, was there anything else I wanted to say? Oh yeah, my script writing process is kind of a total bitch. Where like if you look at my scripts, they're usually 1 to 2 pages long of what I actually say. But if you look through the whole thing, it's maybe like 10 pages of just edited jokes and just rewording, restarting. This joke doesn't work anymore. Hey, this joke worked for about half a page, and then I realized it didn't fit. So then I took that out, and it's a lot of just throwing shit at the wall and saying what kind of sticks into a good video.
Yeah. So like a lot of chopping up bits, taking it out, working with with what you got, and then you got 2 pages by the end of it, but you put in 10 pages of words.
Yeah. My scripts are heavily edited, where it's like the worst things I say. It's like, trust me, there was 3 or 4 versions of that were even worse. That I was just like, you know what? Let's just leave that in the Google Doc. We don't need to share that.
All right. Uh, what's your opinion on how YouTube is run these days?
I guess I'm just a little disappointed in it, where like I know their target customer or whatever is children, because they're just the ones who watch the most of this stuff.
Yeah.
So they can't really make it easier for the more adult content to, circulate around. And I get that. I just wish that they would maybe make 2 forms of YouTube, or some kind of separate version where it's like, hey, there's YouTube, which is, the normal
Oh, they did
restrict
that.
adult. They do have
It's
2
called
versions.
YouTube Kids. And
Okay, well, I need like YouTube regular, which is just how
yeah.
YouTube is right now at this moment, where the adult content is restricted
Mm-hmm.
or not promoted. And then I need YouTube plus 16 or plus 18, whatever, where it's just,
Yeah.
hey, here's YouTube, but without any of the restrictions on the more edgier stuff or the more,
Mm.
topic sensitive stuff. Because
Yeah.
yeah, it just makes it hard when you know that like nothing you're making will ever get promoted naturally through
Mm-hmm.
YouTube's algorithm.
It's
So it's
like
just,
it's bad, but it's like I understand where they're coming from, but I don't like it.
yeah, it's bad. I understand where you're coming from, and I just have to work around it
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because I
'cause
do know that there is a market for, more adult content.
oh, that
Because,
totally is. Especially now that
yeah,
they're like essentially just censoring all the other content.
yeah, there is always that
Your
active group of people who are like, I enjoy this, or hey, I want to get a taste of this. Where do I find
your competition is actively being suppressed. I mean, you are
it?
too, but like,
Yeah, that's why I don't think of it as too unfair, just because it's like,
mhm.
I know what boat I'm getting into,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna keep paddling.
Um, are there any people that you take inspiration from for like how you do your channel, videos you upload and such?
I think my most obvious one that I try to pull back on is South Park, but it's so heavily ingrained into my mind that I'll end up writing these jokes, and I'm like, actually, I'm pretty sure I just ripped that from South Park. I'm gonna cut that out. But my opening intro for my video, the kind of warning thing, it's the
Oh
just
yeah,
a
I
retooled version of South Park.
I noticed that.
Um, my character design, which was complete accident. I was trying to draw characters that I liked, and then once I found like, okay, this character I like, this is my avatar. A couple of weeks into using that character, a couple of
Uh,
videos, and I'm realizing I kind of just made like the adult South Park characters, that
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
kind
round
of like
head.
Randy or whatever.
Yeah. I realized like this character looks way too much like Randy. I mean, I gave my character a neck, but other than that,
I
it's
mean,
pretty much.
I think I think it doesn't look as much. I didn't see the connection till you pointed it out, but he looks a lot more like a detailed version of like the Odd Ones Out, like story time character. You know, like the like
Yeah.
bubbly head
Um,
or something like that.
that was because if you look at like my first 2 videos, I have really heavily influence from Grade A to Under A
Mm,
and Casually Explained, because those were the 2 guys that I was watching when I realized,
yeah.
oh, anyone can do this. I can make stick figures too. So my first 2 videos were heavily influenced by that. And then I decided, you know what, I gotta look more unique. I have to kind of mix things around. And during that time, I had also found Odd Ones Out and that kind
Mm-hmm.
of bubbly style. But I was noticing that a lot of other channels were copying that bubbly style. And I was just like, I gotta maybe make a mix of it, kind of, where I'm a bit more humanish
Mm.
than either of those 2 categories.
I like the mustache.
Yeah, the mustache. I
So it's
literally.
it's the little things that bring it all together, right?
Yeah, and the funniest thing about that is I've been planning to make a video about this and write a script for it. Is that that character signifies how I looked at the time I drew it.
Mm.
I look different now, where it's like, yeah, I gotta add, some dyed hair, some piercings, just
Hmm.
I don't look like that anymore. But I just gotta keep the character because it would be weird if I kept changing it.
It's branding. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like what is it? Do you know the YouTuber Gus Johnson?
Yeah, yeah, the white guy. He's a white guy, kind of
No,
pudgy a little.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
But
okay.
his whole brand is he's got a weird like mustache kind of face beard thing, like Guy Fieri kind of thing going on.
uh
But I was watching a podcast with him. And he was saying, was like, I can't shave my. They wanted him to shave his mustache. They pay him like 2K to shave his mustache. He's like, no, I'm gonna ruin my branding.
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
but
You gotta keep it consistent.
hmm so where do you see yourself in a year from now with your channel and everything?
Um, I mean, realistically, probably in the same boat. I think,
Hmm.
maybe within a year I might double or triple, hopefully quadruple, but even at that point, and I'm still like 500, 800 subs. Like it's
Hmm.
not I don't see my step into that next category of YouTuber until maybe 2 years from now.
All right. Um, so kind of like a side thing on that, but what is the most boring thing you've ever done? Just
Um, to pick out a particular boring thing is difficult due to the fact of the content I make is so time consuming
hmm.
that everything I do outside of the making the cartoon is making the cartoon. Like it is such a time consuming process that it just requires you to spend, several hours a day drawing, editing, writing, that to pick one particular boring thing, I, I don't know. I'll watch YouTube videos as like background noise a lot. That's probably boring.
Well, like let's
Like
say
just
what. Let's go on that. It's kind of time consuming and kind of boring to make the video. So which one of your videos took the longest to make?
the XXX Tentacion one.
All right.
I made one. The thing is, I had a summer job at that time,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I was trying to work on it whenever I could. So that one was like 3 months in the work,
Mm.
and that one came out to 18 minutes, which I realized after making it that that is so long and unwatchable that I should never do that again. You'll see, like right after I made that 18-minute video, a lot more of my videos kind of focused on being 4-ish minutes because I feel like that's good enough to where
Mm-hmm.
a little shorter would be too skitty for me and a little too long, and it's like I don't expect new viewers to sit through all of that.
Yeah, but like, do you feel like with your videos length though, like it's not hitting the YouTube's peak like algorithm promotion though.
Yeah, I don't expect like I don't expect any help from
Mm.
YouTube, so I'm not even gonna like try to stretch it out to 10 minutes because I feel like in the long term that's just gonna hurt me. That's
Yeah.
just gonna hurt me try to find new viewers and stuff like that.
Well, as long as the quality of the product is the same, it's probably for the
Yeah,
best, or it is good,
that's
not worse.
that's what I'm focusing on. Just try to make something that's what I like, but make it more of a consumable size. Because I
Hmm.
tend to like more long form content, but my videos, I'll keep them to 5 minutes because I feel like that's
Right.
an easy length to share.
Like with the YouTube's longer content promotion, that's why podcasts and things are really the main money makers as far as YouTube goes. You you make a 8 hour podcast, someone's gonna watch a lot of it. You only need like one person to watch the whole thing, and boom, you've got a
Yeah,
huge
yeah.
boost in promotion.
That
Um,
that's kind of my main thing I've noticed with my form of content is
mhm.
that I could get, a couple hundred views on something, but everyone's watching for 3-ish minutes. So I
Yeah.
look at like the time requirements that YouTube wants for you to even become monetizable. Not that I think I'm ever going to be, but just looking at it, it's like, okay, on the views, I'm like 40% of the way there. Awesome. On the time requirements, watch time requirements, I'm about 10% of the way there.
You need like what is it, 5,000 watch minutes for
It's
in a
something,
year.
it's Yeah, it's something so high that I look at my stat, I'm like, it's never getting there.
Man, well, talking about things that are never gonna get there. Are there any video ideas that you've wanted to do but like won't or can't for like whatever reason?
As far as videos I would like to do or like to write, really there's no restrictions on kind of, free ideas and stuff like that, but my main thing is family stuff. Like I I can't share, some
Mm-hmm.
of the weird crazy stuff that I hear around in my family. Because I'd be sharing it without their consent to it. So like I don't want to volunteer like their information in their life, even though
Mm-hmm.
I hear some wacky stuff.
All right. So on to the last bonus question. What's the meaning of life?
Ah, crap. Well, you really hit me with that one. Okay. Let's see. See, I'm one of those people that it's like the meaning of it is whatever you want to assign to it. So for me, my meaning is more centered around laughter, trying to make things that are funny, intaking things that are funny. It's the only thing that gives me like that real kind of dopamine rush
Mm,
that's like, okay, this is living. So for me personally, that's where my life is centered around. Trying to be funny, trying to see funny things, trying to spread funny, like that's just what I like. But as a general universal thing, it's really whatever you make of it, dude.
it's like
Like I
whatever you
can't.
do, whatever you make it, whatever you want it to be is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. And it's such a like a cliche simple answer, but that's really like the deepest thing you can do with your life, finding purpose for it. Like that's such a complicated task.
And your purpose is spreading the funny.
Yeah, that's the only thing that interests me. That's the only thing I like, so might as well just jump in it.
All right. Well, thank you for doing this interview with me. Really appreciate having you on the show. That was fun.
No problem, man. Sorry for the delay. You hit me up about this for a while back, and I just
Yeah, like about 7 interviews ago. No, 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 four,
uh,
four.
4.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just, I couldn't get to
no,
the
that's fine.
place where I record.
That's fine. That's
So,
fine.
I'm just working on a little no ball mic.
That's fine. Completely understand. I'm just glad that you managed to do it. Do you have anything you want to like shout out in particular? Like
Just my channel, really, just the all ages channel.
cool.
If you look up all ages and you
I'll
filter through a
link in the
channel.
description. Link in the
Yeah,
description.
okay.
And
Awesome.
your Twitter account too, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, all ages 69. Yeah, I don't know, I'm an idiot.
It's funny.
uh I guess. But, that's just if you want to contact me in any way, go through Twitter. It's just the easiest way to get a
Yeah.
hold of me.
All right. Well, thank you, and see you around.
Okay. Thanks, man.